learn how to get a .NET Core Web API project ready so we can deploy it to Docker later in this edition of Azure Tips and Tricks. Before we can create a .NET Core Web API that we're going to use to deploy to Docker, I'm going to need to make sure that I have the .NET CLI installed. Inside of my command terminal, I'm going to type in .NET info, and this should spew out some information about the different runtimes and SDKs that I have available that my .NET CLI could use. The next thing that I'm going to do is create a folder. And I'm going to call this my Web API. I'm going to go inside of that folder. Inside of here, I'll create another folder. I'll call this source. Now, inside of the source folder, I'm going to type .NET new Web API. Now the .NET CLI has gone ahead and scaffolded out a .NET Core Web API project for me. Now, if I look at the directory structure, I can see all the files that are here for me to run my project. If I type .NET run, the .NET CLI should now be building my project, and now you'll see I have an HTTP and an HTTPS endpoint that I could use. Now I'm going to open a browser, and I'm also going to add on the endpoint /API/values. And here's the result that gets returned from my default Web API. I'm going to stop my project. Now the next thing I'm going to need to do is publish this application. So I'm going to type .NET publish. I'm going to use a release configuration. I'm also going to set my output to be a obj/docker/publish. Let's add the spacer. And now if I go into that folder, I should see the publish folder that would have been created. And now if I look inside of here, I could see my compiled application is ready for me to deploy to Docker.